Okay, thank you everyone for those presentations. It's a lot of fun continuing to work with Malcolm. I think he was probably hoping to hear less from me once he was done advising me. But yeah, that's not going to happen. It's just the way it is. I do want to clarify, however, that Malcolm did mean Dr. Robert Golden in his last slide, and also Dr. Robert Duncan, both of the University of Manitoba in the Department of Plant Science. So this brings us to a quick live question and answer period. Unfortunately, Malcolm could not be here today. So if there's any questions about the heat stress presentation, I will try to answer them to the best of my ability, which admittedly is a fractions of Malcolm's, but here goes nothing. We also do have Dr. Chipanchi and Dr. Bartlett, who will answer a few questions about their respective presentations. So I think I'll get things rolling with Dr. Chipanchi. The 2021 growing conditions, can we expect an increase in frequency in environmental conditions like these moving forward because of climate change?
Well, thank you very much, Nate, for that question. Really, we cannot, first of all, one event cannot tell us exactly how things are going to unfold in future. However, the projections that we have from climate change, and some presenters have actually indicated some of the results that we know. And by calculating the indices of drought, we know that really the frequency of drought events, their intensity, by just looking at the temperatures and precipitation amounts that are generated from these models, suggests that yes, we are likely to have more frequent droughts and more intense droughts. So that's just from projections. But I want to question that just because we had 2021 is not really an indication that there will be more droughts and more intense droughts. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Dr. Bartlett, were there any canola quality oilseed Brassica gensea grown in 2021? And do you know if this is how this compared relative to Brassica napus with heat and drought?
We didn't have any canola gensea, Brassica gensea canola type this year on the average survey, so I cannot comment on the quality. So yeah, that's the issue. If you talk about canola Brassica gensea, the mustard type, the yield was similarly affected as the canola. So there is kind of an issue with the brown mustard this year, which is canola gensea.
Right. Okay. One question on the heat stress presentation that did appear in the chat was, is higher raceme fertility compared to West Star just a function of newer hybrids having higher yield potential? And I think that, the answer might actually just be flipping that question around. And, do newer hybrids have greater yield potential because their raceme fertility is greater than older cultivars, And life science companies and breeding programs they are selecting, for heat tolerance, for abiotic stress tolerance. They're growing, they have their field trials in these kinds of environmental conditions. So I think that they are already selecting for this. Dr. Bartlett, another question, were the oil, protein, and other seed constituents statistically different among the provinces this year, or were there any regional trends?
No, there was no difference there is no statistical differences between the average of any of the area this year. That was the big difference compared to last year.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and so another question, Dr. Chipanchi, what about the difference between day and nighttime temperatures? Was this something that you looked at this year? Was there, I believe it's called diurnal temperature, did we see changes in that this year compared to others?
Yes, the calculation of average temperature is always, you look at the maximum and the minimum. And certainly, we've had in the past some droughts that we call cold droughts. And also we have some droughts that are hot droughts. Looking at 2001, certainly it was a hot drought in the sense that the minimum temperatures at night were exceptionally high. Yeah, that was the case for 2001.
Okay, and I think I'll just answer one more question and then we'll get things moving on, just to stay on track. So do fertility levels affect susceptibility to heat stress, or has it been compared? And you know what, a healthy plant, a plant going into a stress event is going to be able to handle stress better than if it's already stressed. So as you can imagine, drought conditions were prevalent across the prairies this year before the heat even happened. So this year would have been especially bad because the plants were already stressed because of lack of available soil moisture. It just didn't rain, and then the heat came. So you know, if we are under well-watered conditions and then the heat came, it might have fared better. And the same could be said, you know, for fertility. If the plant is already healthy and raring to go, then it might be able to handle the heat a little bit better. So this wraps up things for me as chair for today. I am going to pass things over to my colleague over at the Saskatchewan Canola Development Commission, Doug Heath. Take it away, Doug.